Oh, close. We're close. Done. Reader. No, sorry, dude. You should have called me earlier. Home, and we should. Oh, look at that. Slowly but surely, we made it happen.
Awesome.
And we are back. Here I am, Fly Navarro with the No BS World Tour. I have Miss Neo all the way in from Africa. Miss Neo, how are you today?
I'm very good, thanks. And you, Fly?
Listen, I'm having a good time now that we were finally able to get this live stream going. For those of you not behind the scenes, I messed around for about 8 minutes because, there's everything is ever changing. So I am so glad that we finally connected. We've been text messaging back and forth to get this podcast going and to talk about what you have going on. So, Neo, let's start off with, let's let everybody know who you're with and where you're from.
Okay, well, my name is Neo Saraiva. I'm currently living in Mozambique, South African origin. Came here to improve my fishing skills, which have definitely happened. And since being here, I've created a Facebook page called Extreme Fishing Africa. And I've focused a lot on lady anglers, bringing more anglers and encouraging lady anglers to take up the sport.
What made you decide to get into that realm to help women into the sport fishing realm of things?
Well, I've been fishing since the age of 4 with my grandfather, so it's always been part of my life, and meeting other people and telling them that I love fishing, that's what I'm into. You always get the raised eyebrow, like, really? So for me, it was more of a thing of finding like-minded women, to prove that I'm not the only one out there. There's lots of ladies here that are absolutely passionate about fishing.
So explain a little bit to everybody what exactly, a little bit about the fishing in Africa, because there, just like here, there's lots of different types of fishing. So explain a little bit, because I've seen some of your guys' pictures, and I've also seen a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed one of your lady anglers that you highlighted with Extreme Fishing. And tell everybody a little bit about the fishing that they can look forward to in Africa.
Well, the shoreline fishing is amazing. I started out with estuary and shoreline fishing. Well, there I was mostly what we call shad, targeting shad. You can target garrick, black mussel crackers, the shoreline kind of fish. I was never really big into shark angling, like a lot of the lady anglers are. And then now deep sea fishing, we're in winter, so we're going for the wahoo, the big game species.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you on wahoo, because you just sent me a picture 2 days ago of your first wahoo.
Those elusive fish, they're around, but for me, landing that fish has been an absolute monster. We fish off a jet ski, so you get pulled around, and
that's what I wanted to bring up.
Jet ski, they go wild, so they go under the boat and they try everything to get off, and it was my first big one that I've landed successfully.
So if you could describe to everybody first of all, you're on a jet ski. You're not fishing off a boat. You're fishing off of a jet ski. So let's describe your jet ski setup so people understand. You set up this jet ski to go fishing. We're not talking about just you're not going to be doing backflips off giant
no. You've got tubbies for your gear. You've got rod holders. You've got everything you need.
So I'm assuming you push the jet ski off the beach, and how far are you running out to go wahoo fishing?
Sure, we go quite far, kilometer wise. I'm not exactly sure, but It takes us about half an hour to get to what I call the danger zone.
Why do you call it the danger zone?
Well, the first time I actually went fishing on a jet ski, my partner Mark, who you met, we entered this area and he said, now this is where the reef starts, and and then also, what did he call it? Sailfish Alley. So okay. I was like, yo, whatever, whatever. And the first time up, we were double up on sailfish. And I was like, this is not a good idea. On a jet ski, there's 2 huge sailfish jumping at you. So instead of calling it Sailfish Alley, for me, it's the danger zone. I know we're going on in that area. The fish are there.
So describe to us how many rods you pull, how many baits are in the water, what kind of baits you're using.
Okay, well, we do trolling where we use rapalas, targeting the wahoo and the kuta. It's amazing what will actually take a rapala. We've even had a green jobfish take the rapala.
Really?
So we normally have 2 rods, 1 on each side. And then if we're feeling brave, we will put a feather out as well. But like we learned the other day, we had a sailfish first take it and 2 wahoos. So we got burnt off. It was chaos. Coffee overboard.
Wait a second.
Absolute chaos.
You're drinking coffee while you're on the jet ski?
Oh, for sure. For sure. We know when you pour that coffee, you're going to go on, So we call it lucky coffee. That's when the chaos starts, when you get relaxed.
Are you both on one jet ski, or do each of you have a jet ski?
Yeah, no, we're both on one. We work as a team. I wouldn't want to, some of the launches, I mean, I wouldn't even brave it.
Really? Why is
on
that?
My own. Well, I mean, we've launched in some really hectic conditions. Sometimes the swell is just massive, and not so long ago, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we launched in a 2.7 meter surf. I basically just closed my eyes and I'm like, okay, let's just go. Let's do it.
2.7 meters. That's almost like 9 foot.
Yeah.
That's a big swell.
It was huge. It was huge.
So you get past the surge, or you get past the swell, and then you run to the danger zone.
To the danger zone.
To the danger zone, and you put out your 2 rapalas, maybe a third one, and you guys are just weaving in and out on the edge.
Well, we also do a bit of, we're not supposed to, we don't do jigging in this area. It's a marine protected area. Okay. So we're allowed to use bucktail and we're allowed to use drop shots. I love the drop shot. I get taught a lesson or 2 every now and again with the GTs around here. It's also one of those that I have not. I hook them. They open my hook, and that's them gone. Get spooled. Or fiery arms.
Listen, there's some great fishing down there. I know I have a lot of friends in Tanzania and Mozambique, and I know there's a lot of really, really good fishing there. Not just GTs, but the marlin fishing's good. The wahoo. Yeah. Now I know the wahoo's fishing good. It's good.
Very good. So, I mean, they were full up the last couple of days. And really? It's not little ones. Yeah, there's some big boys out there.
How big was the wahoo you sent me the picture of the other day?
The one I caught, I think it was 16.4 kgs. But the one that a friend of ours caught on the other jet ski at the same time was over 30. That was a big fish.
30 kg. That's a nice one.
Yeah.
That's a real nice one. And now when you're going offshore, are you going in groups of jet skis? Is there...
No, not usually. Usually it's, there's a couple of guys out there on their own usually, but it's normally just us.
Really?
Yeah.
So explain it to me.
Especially on a Monday, when we're fishing on a Monday, everybody else is working and we're like, yeah, it's all ours.
That's the best part about fishing on Mondays.
Yeah.
That's the best part about fishing on Mondays.
Hopefully Mondays.
So while you're fighting this wahoo, explain to everybody, I'm assuming you're on the back of the jet ski.
Yes.
And you're trying to reel this thing in, and Mark is running the jet ski.
Yeah, and clearing lines. We
And
try and
clearing
clear the lines,
lines. So who's responsible
Yeah.
for gaffing this thing?
Well, it depends. Normally, it would be if I'm on, it will be him. I've got a very uncanny trick of gaffing the hook right out of their mouth, so
Oh,
I leave the gaffing
de-hooking
to
them.
him. Uncanny ability, apparently.
You would think that it would be really hard to do that when you're fishing with a Rapala with 2 treble hooks in it.
Yeah,
But
but
it's
they get away. I mean,
they
even
know how
with
to get away.
Dorados, we've had some drama on the jet ski with some Dorados. Eh?
Tell us a little bit about your drama on the jet ski with the Dorado. I can only imagine because I know drama with them on a boat. Tell me what it's like on a
Yeah.
jet ski.
Well, you have to gaff them firstly, and then lift them into the footwell. Somebody has to hold it down. I've found myself in a position with my fingers in the gaff hole and my body slamming them down, while the hooks are being taken out. So Mark has a great laugh. I think he enjoys it.
I'm getting a great laugh just imagining this whole thing. I'm getting an unbelievable laugh.
We've had times where that fish just launches off the jet ski and Mark catches it with a gaff mid-air, and he gets a few slaps and the fish still gets away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the Dorado, yeah. When you hook them on a jet ski, it's drama.
What's the actual time frame? What time of year are you guys mainly fishing offshore on these jet skis? Is this a year-round fishery or?
Yeah. We try and do it as much as possible all year round. Different times of the year, different fish. Summertime, we've got a lot. Even now, wintertime, we've got a lot of kuta, but summer fish will definitely be the kuta, the Dorados. Those fish come through, and then we target the wahoos and kutas during winter.
Nice. Have you now you told us you got some sailfish before on the jet skis. Have you hooked into a marlin yet?
My first time out.
No marlin yet?
No, that would be no, thank goodness not. Maybe off a boat. Look, I saw how that wahoo that made that jet ski turn in circles, before I landed that fish. Can you imagine what a marlin would do?
I think it would be awesome. I think it would be
wow. Yeah, maybe.
Now, tell us about that doubleheader sailfish you had on.
Oh wow, it was insane. We just saw both of them come up. Mark's one came off, fortunately, and I struggled. I must say, it's my first time deep sea fishing. You have no idea what you're in for. It was a 52 kg sailfish, so it was quite big. I did try and revive it. We tried for like half an hour, but it was tail wrapped. So I'm really not into sailfish fishing, Seeing that poor creature was not something that I'm happy with.
Did somebody at least eat it? It didn't go to waste?
Yes. The Maritimos gave it to their families.
Okay, that's as long as it didn't go to waste. That's the biggest thing.
No,
we all have to eat.
It was a beautiful fish, though. Wow.
It's something that you'll always remember.
Yes, definitely.
So now you said you started fishing as a child with your grandfather. Tell us a little bit about growing up and fishing in Africa. Now you said you're originally from South Africa.
That's correct.
So that's where you fished with your grandfather out of South Africa?
That's correct. As a small child, it was always rivers and dams because we lived inland. And then I think at about the age of 12, we moved to the coast. My grandfather absolutely loved fishing. He lived and breathed for fishing. So he would wake us up. And I mean, we're like young, cup of coffee, wake up, it's time to go. It's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, we're going. And it actually, what was a mission actually became a passion for me, And I just carried on. I started with the estuary fishing and then rock and surf. And it progressed steadily.
What Explain to me, as you were doing this estuary fishing, the back country, what kind of fish were you guys catching back there in the back country? So people understand what kind of estuary
Well,
fishing you have
spotted
over there.
grunter. We do. There's spotted grunter, small kingfish, rock salmon. That's the kind of fish we were targeting.
And was that something that you would stay all day long for or camp out? Because I know beach fishing is
Oh, yes.
camping out is a pretty big thing in Africa.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't stay the night. We would, either go night fishing, till the morning if you're going to go night fishing. But yeah, we would make it a thing for the entire day. Take the kids with, show my son how to fish. It's a nice family outing.
And I know anybody that's watched the show before, they understand that I really preach the words. There's a difference between fishing and catching. Fishing is the time we spend with our friends and family. Catching is actually reeling in the fish. So
For sure.
There's a big difference there. So you pass the passion on to your son.
I'm trying to. He's more into surfing.
Well, at least he's outside. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Look, I took him fishing from really small, but he doesn't have the patience. Only if he sees the fish are coming out, then he'll be like, okay, give me a rod, But he will not. He doesn't like sitting there the whole day.
Oh, that's half the fun. That's half the fun. Hanging out with your friends and your family and telling stories and picking on everybody.
I think it will take one trip out on the jet ski and he'll be converted.
You just called it the danger zone. Do you think that's what it's going to take to transform him? It's the danger zone. We need a different name than the danger zone.
No, it's the adrenaline rush that gets you hooked.
It is definitely an adrenaline rush being offshore. And because you never know what you're going to see, you never know what you're going to be a part of. So that's always a huge thing. Throw on top of it, you're on a jet ski. So there's really not much separating you from the fish. So now for the people that don't know, and I saw some pictures of your jet ski. Have you guys flipped it over yet while you're fishing?
Yes, we have. Well, we weren't fishing yet. It was during a launch. Unfortunately, it was quite rough that morning, and we didn't have experienced pushers on the beach helping us. So we instructed them, no matter what happens, keep the nose straight, and then this little wave stood up in the shore break, and the guys just let go. They were like, ah! No! So the jet ski turned on its side. Yeah. But by 12 o'clock that afternoon, we were fishing on it again.
So here's a question. Do you guys, is all your tackle and rods and everything strapped down to the jet ski? So if it flips over, you don't lose anything.
Well, we did. Unfortunately, those rods ended up snapping like toothpicks. Luckily, Mark thought ahead and brought lots of extra rods and tackle along. But most of the tackle are in boxes on the ski, locked up. But yeah, that was also, it was quite hectic. Diving all your equipment out. But it all worked out for the best because we were supposed to be there for 5 days on holiday. We lost our car keys, cell phones, so we ended up being stuck in paradise for 12 days. No phones. It was brilliant.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but that sounds like fun. Listen, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason.
No, let me tell you what, it was one of the best holidays I've ever had, and in a really amazing place. I'm actually fishing a competition with Mark there next month from the 4th. It's a place called Quinjata Bay. That's going to be interesting, my first compo.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So what's the targeted species in this competition?
Well, it will be the biggest fish, so either a massive GT or a wahoo or something really big. I need to go show the boys how it's done.
Oh,
No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. So, again, you mentioned you got to show the boys how it's done, and I want to circle back around to this extreme fishing, that you're introducing fishing to these lady anglers across Africa and South Africa. So, what made you decide to do this?
Well, like I said, it was just it was a difficult thing to explain to people that I'm a woman that absolutely love fishing. I always got the raised eyebrow, like, really? And I was like, surely I can't be the only one. But in my area where I lived, there was none. It was just me.
Really?
So it was more of a way of connecting with other lady anglers. And it just took off from there. I realized that there is nobody really pushing women in fishing in Africa. There are so many and really good anglers. I mean, the lady that you had on the podcast, she was just a recreational angler, but we've got some really top, national anglers that we featured. So it's a way of connecting and just putting them out there in the forefront. And what I aim to do later on is getting a TV show together, showing where these ladies are from, how it's done. A lot of them actually even run fishing lodges in Africa.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. Now, where are these lodges located at? Are they all through? Are they?
So that's the way I'm heading.
That's where you're heading. You'd like to start your own lodge?
Yeah, no. I actually want to just travel and, visually bring those ladies to the forefront with TV, internet, So I want to actually do a TV show where we feature those ladies all the way from Angola, Namibia, South African coast, all the way to Mozambique.
Now that's a great goal to have. And I have a lot of really good lady angler friends all over the world. Am I breaking up? By a show of hands, by the people that are listening.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's fine.
Who's breaking up? Anybody on Facebook right now?
I'm in Mozambique, so it's probably me.
Listen, I know it happens. So internet, and actually, your internet's really good. To be honest with you, I've had some other people where it's been really hard. So
we have our days that it's really bad.
Oh, I'm sure. Listen, I had a problem yesterday, and I'm sitting here in Florida. It was taking me like 5 minutes to download emails. I was like,
I know that's
what? We're not even talking about with attachments. We're just talking about a regular email.
Hello.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. So now you highlight these women on your Facebook page. Do you have a print magazine to go with this?
Well, we do have. I actually write for a digital magazine called Anglers Talk. I've been doing my features in the magazine for the last year now as well. So it's not print, but we do have an app, Anglers Talk. So we feature it through there as well.
Do you have a website as well?
Not at this stage, just the Facebook page and the Instagram.
Okay, just the Instagram page.
Yeah.
And it's called Anglers Talk?
No, well, there's Anglers Talk magazine, and then the Extreme Fishing Africa, which is mine.
Okay, all right. I will make sure I add it to the list of comments so people can follow it.
I will send you the link as well.
Okay, perfect. You send me the link, and I'll make sure it gets up on the comment section so everybody can see it, and they can go check it out and see what the lady
catch up on the African angling.
Well, that's
we're actually busy working on a full edition of just lady anglers for our next edition, so that will be interesting. I will definitely send you the link.
Oh, I would love to see the link. I would love to see the link. And actually, you've sent me a few
awesome anglers.
There's been some awesome stories that you've sent me about the fishing out of Africa. And I know a couple of years ago, I was supposed to go to Kenya and go fishing out of Kenya, and it didn't work out. and then the whole COVID thing going on, which I don't know if anybody's heard about it, but there's this little pandemic thing going on, and nobody's allowed to travel. So I have to wait until.
Well, our borders are still open. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
The whole thing for me is you got to connect. For me to get there, I got to connect through somewhere, and
yeah,
Europe is just starting to open up. You guys are open, but some countries aren't. So I'm standstill for.
Look, we've got some people flying in from Germany, and yeah, so it's been.
Do you?
We do have some occasional tourists still coming through. Yeah.
I know. When I spoke to my friend Ian over in Angola yesterday, they're locked down, and he's just waiting.
Unfortunately,
they've been without clients now for 14 months, and it's hard to run a business like that.
It's hectic. It's where I live in Mozambique, it's Ponta de Oro, is very much dependent on tourism, and it's been so quiet. I mean, with the borders that was closed, and even now the borders are open, but they open the beaches and everything during winter times. We're still not allowed to fish off the beach. You have to be either on a kayak or on some form of vessel to do fishing.
So you're not allowed to fish off the beach?
Not at this stage, no.
And that is a COVID restriction?
Yeah. At the moment, it's only subsistence fishermen that's allowed to fish off the beach.
Yeah, but you're sustaining for yourself. You're trying to provide for your family.
Yeah, no, they've got their own rules regarding that.
Okay, I'm not getting into all that. That's why this is called
too much politics.
Yeah, that's why this is called the No BS World Tour. We don't talk about politics on here. I like to know what's going on as far as how fishermen are allowed to go out, and luckily for us here in Florida, we were allowed to fish the entire time because it was fish and hunt and exercise outside.
For sure.
we were allowed to do that, but it's always nice to hear what the different places are going on. Is that your son talking? Because we can bring him in. He could talk about surfing. You better watch it.
He's looking for dinner now.
He's looking for dinner now. Well, you're not even allowed to fish off the beach, so you couldn't go get him some dinner.
Yeah, no. You want sushi, probably.
Well, he's old enough. He can cook dinner for everybody.
Yeah, luckily sushi doesn't have to cook. He was spoiled last night with some sashimi.
Oh, man, I wish I was spoiled. I like to cook. I'm a big cook. I'm the cook in the house. So Gary Hastings is saying hello to you.
Hey, Gary.
Now,
our favorite human.
your favorite human. So now, where do you know Gary from?
I've known Gary for many years, from the time when I was at Wild Coast Sun. My brother used to work under him. He was the executive chef, and we've been like family ever since.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So explain to everybody what to expect if they were going to go fishing in Africa along your coast there. If somebody wanted to go fishing, what's the best approach?
Oh, well, that would obviously depend on what kind of fishing you are doing. Deep sea fishing, make sure that you do guided tours. Make sure that you always know where you are going, so you know where you're going to be fishing is safe. That's one thing I must say about South Africa. I won't go fish as a lady off the beach on my own anymore, which in Mozambique we can do. So just make sure that you know where you are going, and you're going with people that know the area. Okay,
and I don't want to dive too much into it, but you brought it up and you said safe. What do you mean by safe?
Well, South Africa is kind of known for, unfortunately, violent crimes. So, like I said, as a lady angler, I would not want to go put myself in the position where I fish on my own.
Okay.
I can do that here in Mozambique now, which is just across the border. but the safety situation is definitely different. And I suppose every African country, you know, you do have warnings like that. So don't go alone, go to a well-known area and go with a guide if you can.
And I'm glad you brought that up. I know over the years, fishing on boats and working on boats, one of my number one rule is safety first. Having fun is second, and catching fish is third. And when you're on a boat, there's a certain amount of safety that's regarded, but you're bringing up a whole different kind of safety.
So you know, it's not, if you're doing shoreline fishing, it's wild, you know, the area that you're in. Just make sure you're not alone on the beach. We've had some very sad incidents, you know, with people getting robbed or even worse. So if people want to go fish in South Africa, where I'm from, you know, I would recommend always going with a guide or somebody that knows the area.
Somebody that knows the area and knows what to fish for and knows that.
Exactly. It's good to have a guide. We've got some excellent guides.
Where would somebody find those guides if they, let's say me per se, if I didn't know you and I wanted to find some, like right now, the first thing I would do is I'd just call you.
Well, we've got a quite extensive network of fishing pages on Facebook where people advertise their services, and just, you know, be going through those pages, you actually get well acquainted. A lot of them post their videos with their clients, and there's some remarkable videos and guides out there.
All right. Well, I'll make sure I put those links up for everybody so they can see it. So that way, if they get the opportunity to go fishing or to go to Africa and they want to go fishing, they can follow these links and find these guides to take them out fishing.
Yeah. And if they want to come fish in Mozambique, they can get a hold of me. We'll organize the charters.
You heard it right there. See, I did not want to offer that, but she did. Neo offered that. So I'll make sure I have her contact information. And she can be your guide.
I did.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. So
there's a lot of companies here that is really good.
And
they'll get you on the fish.
They'll get you on a fish. Will they provide housing and all that, or at least point you in the right direction?
Yeah, we can arrange all of that. Yeah, we can arrange all of that from the side for you. Go through all it, you know, where you want to stay, how many days you want to fish, what do you want to fish for, what time of the year would be best. You know, we can help with all of that.
Perfect. I love it. I'll make sure all your contact info is in the comment section so people can get a hold of you.
Fantastic.
So, no, it's my pleasure. I want to be able to connect people that want to go fishing and check some stuff out. So, of all the years fishing, I want to hear what your most memorable story of your most memorable fishing trip is, because we all have some of our favorites.
Wow, that's a difficult one. We went to Quinjata while the whales were around. This area is magnificent. It's their babies, and they just stay there for a while, big enough to migrate again, is absolutely insane. So that Quinjata experience was really amazing. And then a kuta flying at my face was
a kuta hit your face?
Well, no, he didn't hit me, but I thought he was going to. Mark actually asked me to check the bait, so I was busy reeling in, you know, quite slowly. The jet ski was on idle. And the next thing, this fish launched itself out of the water, and it looked like it was coming straight for me. You can imagine the curse words that went flying. And Mark's like, what's going on? And just before the jet ski, it went straight into the water and it grabbed that same bait that I was busy reeling in. So instead of explaining to him what has just happened, I was just like, come on, but that was, it was insane. It was really something I'll never ever forget as long as I live.
That's awesome. I
I
think
think I was white as a sheet after that.
I think we all have a story of a fish jumping right next to the boat, or when you least expect it, either coming in the boat or just barely missing the boat.
Yeah, well, we had a shark between the two jet skis the other day as well. We were busy, with the drop shot, and the next thing, the shark launched itself out of the water between the two jet skis. You just saw fish jumping all directions. It was like, that was amazing. That's supposed to be dolphins doing that, not sharks.
Sharks got to eat too,
Yeah, but it's not nice between the two jet skis. It's a little bit scary.
I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I was fishing with him. We were all on different boats, and he forgot that I was there fishing with him when he got hit by not a stingray, but an eagle ray. Eagle ray had jumped twice, and they saw him, and it looked like he was going to go underneath the flats boat, but at the last second, he just jumped up and hit him.
Beeped. Oh no!
It knocked him out. It just knocked him out. This thing was, those eagle rays are not small. Probably about 100 pounds, and it knocked him out. He hit the ground. He had slime all over him. They pushed him back.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, it completely slimed him. And he was telling me the story. I'm like, hey man, don't you remember I was there with you? Oh, that's right.
No, I was knocked out.
You were right next to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
nice experiences.
Well, you know what?
That's body knocked out.
That's one of the great things about being on the water, because you don't know what to expect. And being outdoors, it's not just on the water. I mean, we're blessed that we spend so much time on the water, but as you spend time on the water, you start seeing new things.
Yeah.
And you never know. It could be an eagle ray hitting you, or a shark, or a barracuda.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like you were making, you were mentioning dolphins and porpoises. I'm on the water a lot. You end up seeing them feeding.
Yeah.
And you see them knocking stuff out of the water, whether it be mullet or snook or redfish. You watch them as they play around with their food before they eat it. And it's almost like National Geographic's.
Yes. In real life.
Exactly. And we take it for granted. I know my girlfriend always, she's a very outdoors person, loves animals. And I forget, because I take all these pictures and I forget about all the things we see. We see these dolphins, and we see sea turtles and whales. And hey, how was your day? What'd you catch? Oh, we caught 4 blue marlin. And I don't say about all these other species that I see, because we take it for granted. And
definitely.
A few weeks ago, we ran into a pod of orcas. So I took some pictures of the orcas, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to forget to tell you, take a look at what I saw today.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah, no, I would love to see orcas.
I know.
Beautiful.
It's one of those things, you can see them just about anywhere, but you just don't see a lot of them unless you're in a place like Alaska or something.
Yeah, we do in South Africa. We were very well known for the sharks breaching, the great whites, and it was a big tourism thing. And the last couple of years, a lot of orcas has pulled into that area, and a lot less great whites around.
It's funny how that happened. People don't realize those orcas are definitely more dominant than the great whites.
No, I've actually seen footage of them actually hunting the great whites.
When I was running that boat out in Hawaii, I remember finding a pod of orcas, and we were chasing them around. We were just following them because it was neat to watch. And if I remember correctly, it was either 4 or 5 of them in the pod, but they were playing with a shark. And I say playing, the shark was already dead and it was missing its head. But they were just carrying the body around, and they'd throw it in the air, and another one would grab it. And this went on for 20 or 25 minutes.
Yeah, teaching their babies what to eat.
That's exactly what it is. They're teaching their babies what to eat, how to capture it. Was it my first pot of killer whales I saw was back in the late 90s down in Venezuela. They were playing with a live leatherback turtle, about 350 pounds. It was a big leatherback.
Sure.
And every time the leatherback would right itself, they would teach the pups how to flip it back over. And we're watching this for like 20 minutes. And then finally the big male came in and cut it in half, and they all took their turns eating it.
Shame.
Yeah.
It's eat or be eaten, eh?
it's Mother Nature. Listen, there's no fairness in Mother Nature.
No.
That's not, well, listen, I hate to say it, but life isn't fair.
Yeah, true, eh?
Life is not fair. So like you said, it's eat or be eaten. But those are the great things we get to see while we're fishing. You get to see some great wildlife and birds. And
I've got this thing that I do on the jet ski with Mark. We'll be going down the danger zone and everything will be quiet, and I'll tap him on his shoulder and I'll tell him, do you feel that? And he'll be like, what? And I'm like, alive. We're alive.
Hey, listen, it's one of those things you have to take the time out and enjoy it. If you don't tell yourself, you just go through life because there's a lot of stuff going on. Every once in a while, you got to tell yourself, hey, stop. We're alive. We're enjoying life. Take this moment.
Yeah. And if you're fishing, it brings that to you, It makes me appreciate life a lot more.
I know for me, what fishing does, it gives me that alone time to let my brain think. And I've had some of my greatest ideas while I was fishing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can relate to that.
You're just sitting there looking at the ocean or looking at your spread, and your mind wanders. Next thing you know, it's like, that's a good idea. Let's try it.
Yeah. It's also the only time I actually feel spiritual is when I'm out there in nature, and you take it all in and you're like, wow, we're actually so small in this big concept of it all,
No, you are so correct. I don't do it very often, but I do enjoy going fishing by myself, whether it's on my flats boat or just going to the beach. And just as you're heading out the inlet, you're watching the sun just come up. It's very spiritual. It kind of puts you in touch with the earth, with the world, with the water.
Brings you right back down.
It brings you right back down, but it also makes you realize how small we really are.
Exactly. You just look at the ocean and you realize we are minute.
We're like a grain of sand on the beach.
Exactly.
We really are. When you start, I was watching this show the other day about how our solar system, not the solar system, but the whole universe with the Big Bang Theory and how it's still expanding, and it makes you realize how small we really are.
Yeah, absolutely. We're like in a corner in our galaxy, just a little corner, a little blip.
Exactly. And then we worry about not getting enough Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It makes you relate to the whole. Hey,
we need to find more planets with water to fish.
You say that, but I still haven't fished all the waters I want to fish. There's a lot of places on this earth that I have not fished yet. So chop, I better get to it. This COVID.
We also need to educate people on conservation. That's something that I really am pushing with my lady anglers lately. What you're not going to eat, return it to the sea. Be responsible, clean up after you leave. Otherwise, our future generations are just not going to have oceans to fish in.
I'm going to agree with the two words you used in there, educate and conservation. And I have this conversation a lot with a friend of mine with the Billfish Foundation, Peter Chabanzai. I feel that if you educate people on this sport and they fall in love with it and grow a passion, that passion will lead to conservation. When you are passionate about something, and I wrote this quote down, and I don't want to be rude and look it up. I'm going to try to remember it. But it was conservation is when you have enough passion for something that you want to leave it for somebody else in the future.
Preserve it. Yes,
Exactly.
correct. Look,
Exactly.
I've seen a lot of videos of anglers taking sharks out unnecessarily. It's, for me, I love putting that creature back if I've hooked it. I love watching it swim off and knowing that I'm not one of the people killing 100 million sharks during a year, in the ocean. So I really would like to get that message across, and also see how we as lady anglers can contribute to conservation. Try to get that message out there, educate, tell people there are 100 million sharks getting killed every year. That's the apex predator. We need it in our oceans. So we need to educate people.
Education is a very, very big thing, and you've definitely hit on a cornerstone that I'm passionate about, which is lady anglers, because what I've noticed is when lady anglers are out there, they teach their children to go fishing. So that opens the door to so many more. And that's not to take away from the grandfathers and fathers that take their children out.
But don't you think it would be a lot easier to go buy your tackle if your wife also fishes? A lot less drama.
Amen. That is one. I have watched a lot of people that were borderline fishermen that marry somebody or date somebody that they just didn't like fishing, and it stops right there.
No.
And whereas if you get two borderline fishing people, husband and a wife, or man and a woman, just any kind of partner, and next thing you know, they introduce it to their family, and with their family, now that grows, it becomes a family event, it becomes a family outing.
And we need that in the world, don't we?
We need anything to keep everybody together and happy and
positive.
Yeah, and again, anybody that's watched the show or listened to the show knows I don't go very much into politics. I don't like to, because all I care about is people going fishing. But I'm watching a lot of things, and I'm sure people are watching a lot of things in the news or reading things where people are on edge. And listen, I can understand a lot of it. When you've been locked down in your house for 14 months, or you haven't been able to work or whatever. I can
no fishing. No fishing. We almost lost the plot.
Or just anything in life. I mean, I don't know about over there. I'm watching a lot of people here in the news that are constantly getting into fights on airplanes, which I'd never seen such a thing before COVID. You would hear your random thing.
People are frustrated.
A lot of people are frustrated. So it's nice to get out and hang out with the people that you want to hang out with, and no pun intended, let your hair down or your goatee hair, whatever it is.
Your long locks.
And just be outside with your friends and talk and reconnect. I know me, and I can only speak for myself, and I'm only going to speak for myself on this. During COVID, I noticed, because I created this little studio here in my house because I couldn't travel, sometimes I'd go 10 days and I wouldn't have, other than my girlfriend, I wouldn't have any other outside interactions. And you know what it does is, it slowly but surely, it kind of, you lose an understanding on how to deal with people, how to compromise. I can
totally agree with that. I've just been to Durban on a trip. It's been very quiet where we are for over a year now. It's like you just need the tumbleweed still, in the roads. So going back to a place like Durban for the weekend, you realize how much life is still, how much disconnected we've been, because we've been isolated, because the borders was closed and businesses have been closed, So
we're social creatures. We're social creatures. I mean, in all of history, humans live together. They live in tribes. We're tribal. So we like to be around each other. And the only problem with being tribal is that when you're tribal, there's always my tribe and then somebody else's tribe. Well, when you're sitting at home by yourself, it's you and then everybody else. And there's no cohesion. So people they want to be confrontational. They want they have frustrations that they have to.
They need that interaction. Any form of interaction. Yeah.
Exactly. You need that form of interaction to be with your fellow man and go out fishing or do things together. And that's the great thing about fishing, is the fact that you can connect with people. I know fishing has opened up so many doors for me, and you look at it and it allows you that tribalness. Hey, we have this connection. I mean,
we're of the same tribe. Yeah.
Exactly. We're the same tribe. We're fishermen. And this is a perfect example. Here you are in Mozambique. I'm in South Florida. You're a South African in Mozambique. I'm a Cuban in Florida. And we're talking luckily we're using today's technology to connect, to talk about that one thing that we're passionate about, which is
absolutely
fishing. And I find that to be amazing. I find that to be really amazing, because
and how nice is technology that we can connect like this now.
Exactly. We can connect, you and I, and then we can share it with the world. That's the great part. It doesn't stop with just you and I talking. Now it goes off and it lives indefinitely for everybody out there to watch and listen and learn and experience. And that to me is a very big thing about fishing. And that's why I after I hit 40 and I made a little bit of a career change, because I wanted to use the technology we have to share my passion, as opposed to only keeping it on one boat with one group of people. Let's explore the world and share it with everybody.
40 years late to change, hey?
It took me. I changed at 40 years old. I left working on boats. Now that, mind you, that was also almost 8 years ago. But yeah, I quit. I stopped working on boats full time. Full time when I was 40 or 41. And really, I only have one last project that I do that is 100% only fishing, meaning that I still go out on boats and take people out fishing. Throughout the year, people call me up and I do a lot of coaching. People call, hey, I want to learn how to do this. Okay, let's put a trip together and we go do it. Now, mainly I do is promoting and helping people promote their locations, and helping people promote a species, or put on a tournament, or anything that promotes our sport. And
that's fantastic.
I did it because I also realize, as I get older, there's going to come a point in time that my body just can't handle being on the ocean 250 days a year. And
it is taxing, hey? It can be very taxing.
It's a good taxing, but it's tough. And I saw the writing on the wall, and a lot of guys in my position and gals, I know plenty of women that were in my profession, and it's like, okay, do I want to put my body through this through my 50s and 60s? And I don't mind. I love it. But what's going to happen when I'm 60 years old? Even now, I don't push so much to go fishing where I know it's going to be rough. I'll do it. But if given the choice to go fish somewhere that's flat calm, or I got
no, definitely. We prefer the glass off days.
Listen, it will never get too calm to scare me. I like it. It's easier on the body, but listen, sometimes you got to do it. And I know the other day I was talking with Naomi, my girlfriend. I was telling some fishing story about a tournament or something, and she's like, "Do you miss it?" And it was something that I remember asking some of the older fishermen as they left, started doing other things to start a family. And I asked them, "Do you miss it?" And they're like, "Well, there's certain things I miss." And I remember the story, and it was only a couple of weeks ago she asked me, and I'm like, "Well, there's certain things I do miss, and there's other things I don't." I do miss the camaraderie, the buildup of certain events, winning certain events, but the daily grind. I mean, to be at that level, to win those tournaments,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of days of practice, a lot of days of work.
Yeah.
And that
Definitely.
grind is hard. And you hear about it with a lot of professional athletes. You know, they still want to play ball, but they don't want to do the off-season training. And
Yeah.
I can kind of understand it. By no means am I comparing myself to Tom Brady or any of these professional
Well,
guys,
if you're winning competitions, you're an athlete in your own right.
but it's definitely, it's a grind. It's a lot of
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I get as much enjoyment now out of talking about fishing and teaching people and opening up opportunities for people to learn about
Yeah.
what our sport has available to it.
Yeah, definitely. And there's
I
so many
enjoy it.
different ways of fishing that you can learn, you know.
Exactly. Now, speaking of different ways, what's your favorite?
I would
What's
say at the moment it would be jigging.
it would be
Just
jigging.
because of the different species. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
All right. And
Yeah,
it's
I've got some very, very big GTs on jigging, so I am apprehensive because I know the burn is coming. My arms are going to suffer. But you do it anyway for the adrenaline.
do you guys get any dogtooth tuna over there by you guys?
I've never caught one. I think maybe closer towards the Cape in South Africa, maybe, but I've never seen one.
I know Tanzania has some of the biggest.
Is it? Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I haven't seen one. We get the yellowfin here. They're also not very big.
Okay.
At the moment, you're very lucky if you get one out. The tax man is waiting.
The tax man is definitely waiting. I know you guys off South Africa, you guys have a pretty good bluefin fishery. You guys have some pretty nice bluefins
in the Cape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you guys have
now
some
that
nice
would
ones
be
there.
lovely to do one day.
I miss it. I normally every year, that's the one trip I do. I do 6 weeks every year in Canada, giant bluefin tuna fishing, and I love it.
How long does it take you to get that fish out?
It all depends. Every fish is different. We've had some that could last 45 minutes, but usually I think our average is about 12 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're also fishing 250-pound test, and we're fishing 100 pounds of drag.
Okay.
So,
wow.
But it is really neat because you get to see the bite right next to the boat.
Okay, that's really cool. Wow.
That's the best part of it. Is the bite. They don't realize they're 800 pounds.
Yeah.
So to watch them eat right next to the boat is amazing.
I can only imagine. Well, that's definitely on the bucket list.
Put it on. I think I'm going to have to make a trip to South Africa just to try it. And they're starting to show up around Ireland and Norway now. And I would love to get a chance to fish for them out of Norway.
Let me know when you're there.
Don't
invite me.
I'll invite you. I'll invite you. And don't ask me why I've decided I'd like to try it there. It's just that I'm hearing that they're starting to show back up there, and I would just like to take the opportunity to.
It's a new destination and a wonderful country, as far as I hear.
Norway's beautiful.
The people are lovely.
People are lovely. I was up there a couple of years ago for. We went up there for Christmas to see the Northern Lights.
Oh, and you're lucky.
Oh, it was so awesome.
You're so lucky.
Awesome. But it was weird going, how long were we up there? 5 days without sunlight. You don't see the sun for 5 days.
That must be disorientating and confusing.
It's weird because they say, let me see if I remember the dates correctly. The sun sets November 21st, and they don't see it again until January 21st.
Oh, no. So that's hectic.
2 months without the sun.
It must be so cold.
You know what? It's not that bad. It's not that bad because they're influenced quite a bit by the Gulf Stream.
Oh, okay.
So their temperature, depending on if you're looking at it at Fahrenheit or Celsius, it kind of sits right at 0 Celsius.
Okay.
And it might go a couple degrees high or a couple degrees cold, but it doesn't go to like -20.
Oh no! See that we can't even comprehend those kind of figures in Africa.
That is so cold. That is so cold. My
You
friend,
guys live in a fridge.
you don't. That's not even a fridge. That's a freezer.
Freezer.
That's a freezer. My friends in
no.
Canada, they get 22 degrees below because it blows across all that land mass, and that's why it gets so cold. As opposed to Norway, it comes across all that what's considered a warm ocean. Even though the ocean's 40 degrees, it can't get that bone chilling negative like what we see in Montana or Winnipeg or even Nova Scotia, Canada, where
I've got a friend in Winnipeg, and she's told me how cold it gets there, and I'm just like, why are you there?
That is so brutal. It is.
She's a mermaid, you know. What is she doing in Winnipeg in the cold?
She's waiting for hibernation to thaw out. That's too. And I like cold. We were just talking about that. Speaking of, where's your jacket? I don't see the jacket anymore.
Yeah, no, it got too much.
Okay. Right before we came live or started recording, Neo was wearing her jacket. I'm like, how cold is it down there? And right here
I'm a wussy when it comes to cold.
It's a whopping 90 something degrees with 100% humidity. I wake up in the morning and there's water condensation all over the windows. So it's so humid out. It's brutal.
You see, I would love that.
No.
Kick me on. Good for the rest of the day.
I like 70 degrees, no humidity, 40 degrees at night. I can wear a sweatshirt. I kind of like it.
Oh, wow. You're very particular about your weather.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, if you're going to ask for every, don't just ask for a little, ask for the whole thing. We can always negotiate back. So
you're going to have to come do winter fishing with us then.
Listen.
We won't put you through the summer heat.
No, not a problem. Listen, even if I have to do summer heat, I don't mind. If I'm fishing, I can deal with summer heat. If I'm fishing,
okay.
I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day. I was telling him, oh man, it's so hot. He goes, this is coming from a guy that has spent 30 years on boats in the Caribbean heat. I go, well, it's different when you're fishing. You don't even think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're cooked when you come home.
Yeah. You're just fried. I'm just putting lotion on all day long and then aloe at night, trying to keep up with everything. Yeah, it's brutal, but you do it because you love to fish.
Exactly.
That's why you do. At least that's why I do it. You just put
nothing that a cap and a buff and some sunglasses can't sort out.
Lots of sunglasses. Put your buff on. Cover yourself up. Long sleeves. I remember the only place I've ever burned, because no matter what, I won't wear long pants. I wear shorts when I'm fishing. But the only place I've burnt my legs is on the Great Barrier Reef. The sun in Australia is brutal, and that was the only place I've burned my legs.
I think it might be a bit worse in Africa, huh?
You think so? I'm gonna have to find out. I'm gonna have to find out. When's the hottest time in Mozambique?
I would say around January, February.
Okay, so then I'll definitely show up in July.
That's what I say. Come for the winter fishing, you'll be fine.
No, I'll check it. January, February is not a bad time of year. It's not a bad time of year. I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, I like it. That's my favorite time of the year. Little rain, lots of sunshiny days,
and lots of fish.
Yeah, definitely. You just wake up feeling, the world is good when the sun is out.
That's so true. It's amazing what a little vitamin D will do for how you feel. So now I'm looking at the time here. Is there anything that we've missed that you want to add?
Not that I can think of.
I want to make sure you got an opportunity to tell everybody everything about fishing.
Well, I would really like to invite your audience to come have a look at our page, our Extreme Fishing Africa. Support the lady anglers. Share. I will also send you the links to Anglers Talk magazine, so your audience can have a look at that.
I will make sure I put it in there.
I've just started a funding page, Go Get Me Funding, to try and do the TV program, get that off the ground as soon as Angola opens and Namibia opens. I want to get down there and start filming the lady anglers and, getting them out there. So if you feel like donating, there's a good cause involved. We will be donating fishing rods and doing fishing clinics with Mozambican kids with some of those donations. So it will be going to a good cause.
I will definitely, and you sent me the link. I'll make sure I put that in.
Yes, I did.
All the descriptions. So
fantastic. Thank you.
On that note, Neo, you hold right there. You don't go anywhere. Everybody else who's listening, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for listening to us, however you're listening to us, whether it be on Facebook or Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, wherever. Thank you so much. I know your time's valuable, so I really appreciate it. And Neo, thank you so much for sharing your African fishing stories with us. I truly appreciate it. And everybody else, enjoy, and we will talk to you guys later.